hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and join us today. I'm Angela,
And I'm Darnell.
and welcome to Garrison
Garrison House.
House. Yay! We
Hey.
are so excited to have you guys joining us today.
Yes, we are. We were just a few minutes late today. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're just going to, wait till other people joining us, and we're just going to talk about our weekend. He just got back from Atlanta Sunday, and I just got finished doing a pop up shop on Saturday. And you're going to say, what's a pop up shop? It's just basically you sell your merchandise, and you pay your vendor's fee to go into a place to sell your merchandise. It's really sometimes it can be a little hectic. It can be a little lot, having to. Oh, you should have had the picture of the car. I had to pack the car. But it's like you got to bring all your merchandise in. You got to set everything up. The table looks all pretty. As you see there. But the setup is sometimes can be a little tedious. Have to bring all your things in, and we just want to connect with our customers, our supporters who are out there supporting our merchandise, connect with them, talk to them, and hopefully, come join, help and buy things from us. And this is actually a great opportunity. Sometimes, brick and mortar is not a option. So this is an opportunity where we as merchants can go in and be able to sell our merchandise to various people besides the few that we normally would have if you try to do it on social medias and things like that. And hopefully we can connect with a lot more people, a lot more customers based people. So that's what I did this weekend.
Yeah, she had a very nice weekend. She's at the pop up, and I was in Atlanta. I left here on, I believe, Tuesday evening, and we were there for the Impact Network's Christmas extravaganza, where we honored Dr. Bobby Jones on Thursday. Friday, Medina Pullings, and Saturday was Apostle. He did the Miracle Breakthrough Conference.
We'll be talking about that later, about
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, we'll go a little bit more into that. We went to. I'm trying to pick a picture that was. I guess I'll talk about the one restaurant we went to.
We
Uh,
love our food.
yeah, we love our food. I'm going to start off with uh, Piccadilly.
Piccadilly,
We
in
tend to go
Georgia.
to Piccadilly quite a bit when we're in Atlanta. We have a running joke. I'm not going to say who the Piccadilly fan is, but we tend to go to Piccadilly every time we go to Atlanta. And this time we went to a different location. And I tried some things different. Right there was the chicken. Then I had broccoli and rice and those greens. Oh my goodness, those greens. Woo, they were phenomenal. I probably could have just left the chicken and the rice and broccoli and just ate the greens. They were that good. And then I'm going to do this one more picture here. Then last night, we stopped off at, I forgot, I think it's Fat Willie's barbecue. I can't see the thing, but it was a barbecue place in Buckhead that was really good. Bishop Farmer had suggested it and said, "Hey, this the best."
Now, interesting about it, they actually put the barbecue sauce cup right on top of the ribs. I'm like, and they got the barbecue sauce. They make sure you can. This is the signature right there. See, barbecue places, their signature is the barbecue sauce.
Right.
So yeah, they got the actual barbecue cup, and he actually brought home. He bought the
I brought
barbecue,
the
barbecue sauce.
I brought home. I don't have it in here with me because then I would have remembered the name. Yeah, it was some really good barbecue. It actually was what the person was right when they said we have some. They have some good barbecue, and I enjoyed my time there. And we we do these things. We go to Atlanta quite a few times a year now. So we're at the Impact Studio there in Atlanta, and it's a great place to visit. I actually, the facility itself, mind you, y'all know that I do everything one time. Inside, this is what it looks like inside, and we pretty much that's how we pretty much look inside the facility. So that was actually from, I think that was that's the Williams brothers who were performing that evening, and I sent my wife a text and said no pressure. I had to mix the audio for the stream, so it's been 30 something years since I've mixed live audio. So I did okay. I would say okay. And pretty much that is what was going on our weekend. I mean, do we want to start our next thing or do we wait for more people to come in?
One thing about, if everybody knows, I don't know if you guys know on social about the whole Keith Lee in Georgia and he and his experience. Just like you know, I mean, there are nice, great restaurants in Georgia that are very good, as he's pointed out. But I think I read on social media was the fact that if you're in the tourist trap, where they do those, like, you ever heard of the Real Housewives of Atlanta or anything that deals with anything that's Atlanta, reality based. They have their own restaurants, so that's pretty much. I read somewhere it's possibly that you may get. It's a whole thing. People usually just go there just to sit, and hopefully you can see their celebrity. So there are other restaurants there. So don't be discouraged. You go there, you can't find nothing to eat. There's food there.
There is. And also I saw Thomas Ware, who has a new Christmas single that I believe is dropping today. Mm-hmm. I saw Michelle Wilson, who I used to work with. I saw your sister Sharon is on.
Hi.
And so welcome everyone.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead to our next segment. It's something that Angie is going to take it from here.
Oh, yes. Know Your Benefits Part 2. Okay, Part 2. So I asked my husband, I said, you know what, do you want me to do another one? He said, yeah, let's do another one because we are still in the benefit season, especially for people who are on Medicare and Medicaid, especially mostly Medicare right now too. The healthcare.gov, healthcare.gov is really for people who are not eligible yet for Medicare, or not necessarily, but yet you still need health insurance coverage. So you go to healthcare.gov, you plug in your information, and then they'll come back with different plans, options for you that will best suit your needs. So that's what that is. So I actually, I was posed a question by somebody who was asking me about a Medicare enrollment. Now, before I answer it, this is just something I'd let you guys know, but always find out for things for yourself. Don't go by whatever somebody else says. But usually he asks the question, do I have to re-enroll if I just want to keep my same Medicare supplement plan? And normally you do not have to. However, if you have any doubts, you can always call, make sure you call, because we don't want you not to go in without your coverage. And next thing you know, next year, you realize that your coverage was suspended because you didn't re-enroll. But mostly Medicare plans, just to make it easier for the seniors, they normally just roll over to the next year if you did not want to change it. That's where open enrollment is for changes. Like if you wasn't satisfied with the coverage that you currently have, then you would normally want to change it to a specific. You can change it to a different plan, Aetna, Humana, and so on and so forth. Everybody pretty much is the same, but yet kind of would make sure you want to do. But again, don't take anybody else's word for it. Don't take my word for it. If you have any doubts about your coverage, you have any doubts if you need to re-enroll, make sure you call your servicer, whoever your insurance servicer is, to make sure that you do not have to re-enroll or does it transfer over. Make sure, one of the things though that may change is your premiums. So you may want to keep your enrollment, your same plan enrollment, but you want to make sure you check to make sure that your premiums are going to be the same, or if they're going to change. Because next thing you know, you'd be like, I thought I was going to. So I'm going to make sure of that. But also I want to talk about is prior authorizations, medication prior authorizations. There are other prior authorizations for medical, but I'm going to specifically talk about medication prior authorizations. With medication prior authorizations, there are several types of reason why your medication needs a prior authorization. One of them is the fact that if the doctor prescribes a medication, now everybody gets a formulary list and it splits right down the middle. So if you, whatever medication there's on your formulary list, you can get it. Now there's sometimes there's medication on a formulary list, but they make an exception. So then if they're going to make an exception with the medication, then that means that it possibly needs a prior authorization. Any newer drugs, let's say the drug rep comes to the doctor's office and he says, hey, here's some samples, give to your people. And you find, oh, I love this medication. It's really working really well. And then your doctor prescribes it. So what happens is doctor writes a prescription. He sends it to your pharmacy. Pharmacy lets you know, hey, your medication needs a prior authorization. So depending on your pharmacy, sometimes pharmacy will send a notice over to your doctor. Sometimes it's just easier just to change it. You don't necessarily have to get it unless, of course, your doctor specifically wants you to be on it. Or it could just be easier to get it changed. A lot of plans, especially with insulin products, it kept fluctuating up and down. Lantus used to be the number one go-to for type 2 diabetes with insulin. Now they're no longer covering Lantus. If your doctor continues wanting to prescribe it, then it needs a prior authorization. Now the new drugs are Tresiba, Levemir. What happens, Lantus is a long-acting insulin for type 2 diabetes. There's Novolog R, it's a regular release, immediate release, I believe, and it's fast acting, so it acts right away. It brings your blood sugars down right away, so that's the reason why they have to take it 3 or 4 times after they eat. Lantus, you only take it once, and that's usually at night. So then there are drugs that's for if their doctor wants to give you a medication that is not on your formulary list. Then there's drugs that require prior authorization if the quantity is not acceptable for the amount per your plan. Sometimes drugs will only allow you to have 1 tablet a day. Doctors usually probably try to prescribe 2. So let's say that there's a medication you're on a 5 milligram to start off with. So the doctor says, I want you to start on a 10 milligram. And then he just basically gives you 2 of the 5 milligrams a day. And there's a 10 milligram available. Now, there's a difference if he's trying to titrate you up, where let's take your 5 milligrams, let's split it because we don't want you to all the way in there. Or if that's not the case, if they're just trying to get you to just go ahead and give you the 10 milligrams, then it's just easier if the doctor just go ahead and give you the 10 milligrams, because most plans usually don't play for 2 drugs a day especially when there's a strength available for that. What else there is? Step medications. You have to try another medication before you could try another one. Usually that's fine because some people always do try another medication. I talked about the weight loss medications for type 2 diabetes. It's targeted for type 2 diabetes. Now Eli Lilly has targeted now for actually weight loss. It's the same thing, but it's a different name, but it's targeted for weight loss. And then there's the same drug for the type 2 diabetes. Usually that medication now requires a prior authorization for most plans. So that way they can make sure that you do have type 2 diabetes and the fact that you may have tried another diabetic drug agent. So there are other ones you can, and then you got to realize if a drug is excluded, it's possible that it is excluded, unfortunately. But you can always try to see if you can get it covered. But most time, drugs is excluded. Most plans will not pay for it. Doctor gives you an over-the-counter medication. Some over-the-counter medications are not covered. However, some like loratadine, which is Claritin, they won't cover. Well, they may cover the Claritin, but most of the loratadine, they may cover that. Some things in that nature, which used to be, because a lot of drugs used to be prescription-based only. But now the FDA has approved a lot of these medications now that you can get over the counter. Your seasonal allergy medications. What else do we have? The diclofenac gels. You used to have to get a prioritization for that. Now you can get that over the counter. So there are a lot of over the counter based. Prilosec was always over the counter. No, Prilosec wasn't. I mean, just a lot of these medications. So just making sure when you do get a prior authorization for a drug, um, there are going to be those exceptions where and sometimes if you don't qualify, you just don't qualify. Now, I think I want to touch on this too. It doesn't take that long for a prior authorization to go through. You're thinking, it's been a month, 3 weeks. It doesn't take that long. Somewhere down the line, there's a miscommunication. Once the doctor submits it in, it should only take up to 72 hours. Now, it'll take longer if the company the insurance company does not get back the information in times, because sometimes we need additional information, and so if we don't get it, then that's where the time period comes in. But if you get it really quick, really fast, then you can get your medications within 3 days, if possible. Now, I'll let you know on Medicare with prior authorizations with Medicare is very it's okay. It's not tedious, but just like it's federal, since it's dealing with the federal government. They are very more strict because it goes through the CMS, Consumers for Medicare Medicaid Services, and so it goes through them in order to make sure, because that's a federally funded program. So there's a lot more detailed when it comes to that. Prior authorizations, when you do urgent on a Friday, the doctor would get a notice over the weekend, like let's say the nurses were send it right in. Okay, I'll do it after the day over. They'll send it in on Friday after work. Right before they get closed for work, and then they'll put them in urgent. So on Friday, they'll get a notice on Friday that it was urgent, so they get the information about, hey, we need to know these questions for guideline purposes, and then on Monday they get it. And then on the same day, Monday, they get the denial letter because they didn't get it, because they did it on urgent on a Friday. So you got to watch that too. And anything that's denied through Medicare, you can't resubmit it. It has to go through an appeals process. So it's not like it's go to an actual court appeals. There's actually like a lot of tier that involved in it. If you don't like the answer, so on and so forth, the decision, but it's still just basically resubmitting the information back. The doctor would tell you to resubmit the information back, and it just goes to the appeals process, and then they'll just answer the information if it's approved, it's approved. If it's denied, it's denied. And again, with time periods, if a case is denied, you're thinking, well, I haven't heard back from my prior authorization. There's always going to be a correspondence. There's always going to be some form of letter sent. You get a letter in the mail, or there's going to be, and a letter's going to be faxed to your provider, or what have you, depending on the company who's doing the prior authorizations, however they set up their thing. This is commercial plans normally. Medicare plans, it's the same thing. Some plans actually require a timestamp. It has to be in a post office box time stat at a certain time in order to get to the person within a certain period of time. Some state plans are like that. And so, and some plans, it's mostly about state plans. And so, so if you never heard from something and you're saying it takes 3 weeks or something like that, you may want to call your insurance provider, your prescription insurance provider, to see why you haven't heard the information yet. And then because you should have heard something back. Sometimes it's just easier. Oh, we contact the doctor for additional information. Okay, I'll call my doctor. Doctor says I sent it in already. And basically, them sending in the request is different. It's not the same as us sending back the information to them for additional guideline questions to be answered. So there's a difference. Sometimes that's that triangle makeup we always talk about. It goes from the pharmacist to the patient to the doctor, and something is misinterpreted between those four, the triangle. Okay, and so so that's what we always call the triangle effect right there, because hey, we're saying the pharmacy is saying one thing, doctor's thinking it's another thing, and they're just sending in prior authorizations. Maybe it just didn't need one. Maybe we just need a clarification on something, But anyway, if you did, so always check to see what's going on, and sometimes we just don't get it. Sometimes you just don't get it. It's like, why have we not gotten information? Well, the doctor said they sent it in. Well, it's not here. And then sometimes what happens is, if they're sending, they forget something too. Either they forget to put your name on it, or the makeup too is your name. So if a woman's married, sometimes they're still putting your name in under your maiden name and your date of birth, but then they give us the different ID than what we have in our system. They give us like your medical ID and not your prescription ID, and then that's the makeup. So we don't know whose name is, because we can't find you, because if we have it as your married name, but yet the doctor's still sitting in your maiden name. So always make sure you want to check that too. So we have to send it back because we can't find the patient. Sometimes it's like that. We just got to double check. We do have other alternatives where we kind of find you, but other than that. Some things like that. Not enough information was on it. We tried to, depending, the drug name wasn't even on it or something like that. And it's stuck in there. Or we send information back and maybe it's stuck in somebody's folder somewhere. But just letting you know, just a little bit things about how to handle a prior authorization. This is just for prescription only. There are medical prior authorizations you have to get. Used to be have to get a referral. Everybody gets to get when doctors send you a referral to the next specialist. Technically, it's a referral, but sometimes plans used to, I don't know if they still do, require a prior authorization to even go see a specialist. But I don't think they do that now. I don't think you necessarily have to get a referral. The doctor tells you go see this gastro, and then they tell you what doctor to go to, and they just give you technically a referral. But all you do is call them up and say, hey, my doctor gave me this referral to you, and they just book you appointments. Sometimes you do, especially you're looking at sometimes it's actually been pretty quickly, but sometimes it usually it used to be like 3 or 4 weeks down the line, especially if it's not an emergency. But that's my thing about prior authorizations. So hopefully everything, if you have any questions, just let me know. And just drop a comment, and maybe the next round we will discuss it.
Like I said, the last episode, this is her lane. I stay in my lane. I am not trying to understand all that. That's her world. And I know she was talking about the one drug I'm going to steal a couple minutes from our next segment. For weight loss. I think the doctor wanted to prescribe that to me. And I was like, I'm going to work on my weight. And we're going to probably talk about that in our next one. Things I'm doing right now, which is actually pretty fun. So he said I need to lose some weight. I'm like,
the weight loss medication. Look, I'm pharmaceutical because I'm drugs.
I'm natural.
He's natural. So I'm okay with holistic. I try. Like I said, I'll go do my low carb ketos and stuff like that. Sometimes even keto is not really healthy. But anyway, but I'm pharmaceutical. I'll do drugs. But
not the drugs that prescription drugs. Yeah,
I don't do all that now. But I would do. But just the difference between holistic alternatives and pharmaceutical, because technically, way back when, there was never these type of drugs out there, so they had to develop penicillin. They had to develop these. So everything is chemical based now, or it used to be the ground used to have cinnamon. Cinnamon helped with type 2 diabetes. Some things that help with water retention. These used to be ground based because they didn't have this stuff at the time. So yeah, you used to have to do all this stuff.
Yeah, if you got sick or need your immune system, you would take echinacea.
Yeah, right.
We won't. She won't tell you about her echinacea experience.
Oh yeah, when we were at COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, she had an experience with echinacea.
It was not selling right with me.
Hey, it worked for me. I drink a lot of things.
Well,
one thing
it went right through. It was like because I didn't have nothing to eat anyway, and it all of a sudden got this stuff. No, this is more than just. It was just like a whole. It's like a whole supplemental hot tea, or it was everything in one tea, and I was like, that was just too much.
Well, for me, I drink when I drink echinacea. By the way, some things you have to do without sugar. Let me speak from. I'm starting to get into the holistic side of things, but no sugar is key when you're trying to get healed from stuff. All sugar does, and one video I'm still watching, it shuts your immune system down allegedly for a certain period of time. I don't want to go into that because I don't want to be giving medical advice.
We're not here. This is not if you have any questions concerning your benefits or anything, you please call your insurance company. Don't blame this. Hey, this woman on this podcast told. No, don't. No, always find out for things for yourself.
Yes.
It's nice to get advice, but if you just want to find out for always make sure you call and find out these things for yourself.
Always. Always do your own homework
Right.
for anything before you take supplements. As they say, consult your doctor. I've told my doctor what I was going to do. He says, okay, fine.
A lot of people like to even say stuff just to be saying stuff because they want to be like they know more than what you would know. I'm not, I'll be watching social media. I'm like, yeah, you didn't have to say that. Oh, you may not want to eat so many spinach because this has this in it. Well, yeah, it does. But that's the reason why a lot of people who are vegetarians usually get sick. Because if they're only eating one certain vegetarian meal.
Know your body.
Know your body.
Know your own body.
Make sure and if you have any questions or anything that's going on, always consult your doctor.
Always. Don't self-medicate, please.
Right.
And
I believe in prayer. I'll pray for you, right?
That's the best
healing.
medication.
Right. I'll pray for some healing. But always, there has to be some form of diagnosis first before you can start there, if you really got to get into some type of disease. But anyway, amen.
Speaking of that, even though we're still on the Know Your Benefits, she hosted the 6 a.m. prayer last. We did not mention that. We're going to still, even though we got Know Your Benefits. I'm landed in Atlanta on Tuesday evening around 11. Got to the hotel around 12:30ish. And the other guys on our crew went to go get something to eat. I said, well, I have to be up at 5:30 to catch her host the 6 a.m. prayer for Great Faith. And if I tell y'all, she tore it up.
Yeah.
She tore it up.
Thank you, baby.
I'm sitting there like, go. And I normally am not on 6 a.m. prayer. However, I was on that day and I was like, that's my wife. She tore it up. I told our pastor, I said, she tore it up. It said she been here long enough. She shouldn't.
Right.
That's what Dr. Beverly said. She's been here. And she did an excellent job. I tell you that you did I told her that over the phone. It was my
first time speaking in front of anybody, anything dealing with a message or something in that nature.
More her third time because she's been doing this.
Since I was actually, I didn't think about it until now. He was mentioning this. I am starting back Inside the Pink Box. So if you guys like to follow, it's on YouTube only. I don't have a Facebook page or Instagram page. I changed my Twitter headline years ago with Inside the Pink Box. But anyway, but if you guys just continue to watch, because I am planning on playing that bad. God told me, I ain't tell you to stop. I was like, okay.
And then there's some exciting news for podcasters coming soon. I can't announce it yet. I haven't been told I can. Actually, I haven't even told her.
I guess not.
There's
I was like,
a new platform for podcasters coming soon. I forgot to mention this while I was in Atlanta. So we have a new platform, and we're actually sort of part of it already. They're just debugging some of the things, but there's a brand new platform coming, and we will be part of that. I guess the highlighted couple.
Okay, we'll figure that
So
out.
it's a new podcast.
God is moving.
God is moving, and we're going to move on. As soon as I click the right buttons over here. All right. Now.
Great time. As we touched on Atlanta.
Touched a little bit on the Atlanta trip. And my cousin Bobby Hood joined in.
Hello. I got Akila.
Akila jumped in. Of course, L. Judge, he jumped in. So Paula Garrison, hey, neighbor.
Hello.
Cousin / neighbor.
We're just talking and just enjoying time with everybody online today.
And for one day, what we'll do is we'll show you what we have on the screen. We literally have a clock. Normally this screen is working and normally that light is on. But anyway, the light's not on and I'm not going up there to turn it on. So usually we're looking over here, however our screen is not on. But we have a little clock now that keeps us on time. So we have to keep moving because the clock is not stopping. All right, so great time in Atlanta. As I stated earlier, spent 5 nights in Atlanta without my wife. FaceTime every morning. as I said, we were there. Basically, the first night was honoring the legendary, the Dr. Bobby Jones of Bobby Jones
Wait for
Gospel.
it, legend.
Legendary. Not just someone who hasn't impacted the lives of people. Impacted. Actually, he's a great person that I've worked with in the past, and it was an amazing experience just to work with him. And so knowing him on a different level, it's actually been a very good blessing. It was great for the first time meeting his wife and his daughter. They were there. It was really good just to see people. One of the artists, I can't remember who, said, "Look, I want to give you your flowers while you're alive, and I want you to hear the words." And that's the most important thing I think he came away with. And at the end of that, he said, "I needed this." He said, he was almost to tears. If you know Dr. Bobby Jones, he was almost to tears. The people who came out. And if you want to see that, just swing on over to either the Great Faith Ministries site or Impact Network is still there, and the Great Faith Ministries Facebook or YouTube, it's still there. It'll probably be on the other platform too. Then the next night, Dr. Medina Pullings, she brought it down. It was a very, very powerful service. And she has said some key things. Like, for example, the night before, the house was packed, the parking lot, you couldn't even get a car in it. People just couldn't, there's no space left. That's how packed it was. The next day, she said, the people who are here need to be here. A concert brings in a different type of person. And I just clicked on it and I said, that makes sense. You would think that if we did a concert, the same people will be interested in getting the word on Friday. Yeah, it didn't. They didn't show out. They showed up. Now, people did show up. I ain't gonna say it wasn't at an empty house, by the way. People showed up, got blessed. And then Saturday, oh man, Apostle brought it. He brought that word, and it was as usual. As usual, is a powerful word from our Apostle Wayne T. Jackson.
I mean, people do show up just for concerts.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's a different breed. She said a point. It's a different breed of person that shows up for concerts than to show up for the word, and that's true. I think one of the things about circling back to Dr. Jones's part, I think that audience was there. They enjoyed their show, but a lot of people wanted to meet him. I think that's what it was, because at the end, people were greeting him. He had to sit down. He had so many people coming to him, which is another thing. He is not one of those people who's going to be like, okay, I don't have time for you. Get security, keep these people away from me.
Also, you got to be more respectful of his time because he is older. So you don't. Right. If you do meet him on this,
he's close. I believe he said he's 85.
Yeah,
he's
see
up
him on
there.
the street. Don't try to sit there and hold his hand.
Yeah, he's up there, and I'm one of those people who are very, being the fact that when my grandfather was here for 100 and so many years, over 100 years, and so I'm always making, when people, we try to watch, certain things with those who are seasoned veterans of life. And I think I did talk about the restaurant. I'm going to bring up that plate one more time just to make you all nice and hungry. And I wish I would have had her made a text and come bring that sauce. I'm going to bring up, let's see here. Anyway, I'm trying to find, like I said, I'm doing quite a bit at one time. All right, here we go. There's the plate. And there's the best meal. Now, We went
There are
to
good restaurants in Atlanta.
very
Georgia.
good. Now, I'm not going to say any names. I wasn't going to bring it up, but one of the people in our on our production team, we went to this restaurant that's pretty much like maybe a quarter a mile from the hotel. They spent for one plate basically what two of us would have spent. The average meal there was for me was $19. That's pretty much what I spent, and I didn't drink. I drank water, so it was $19 at this particular restaurant. And that's saying their name. And so they went back. Everybody kept saying, "Man, there's a lot of money." I'm like, okay. Well, I'm happy with going over to the Waffle House, which didn't hit right the first time I went 2 weeks prior. This time they got my order right. But pretty much you can eat well in Atlanta on the food side, but you got to be, the portions can be overwhelming in some locations. You just got to make good choices. As I stated earlier, I'm trying to shift over into a more healthier lifestyle, though we just
Ain't nobody should be able to feed off of one plate for two people off of one plate. That's the thing. Those portions. Sometimes big portions does not qualify the fact that we're making sure that you guys are satisfied with giving us a price and you getting big portions. That's just doing too much because because I know there's a restaurant. I can't remember what the restaurant was. I don't even remember the name that we were here in Michigan, and it was like it was just a bunch of food. My daughter ordered the nachos, and she didn't even have meat on it. It was just a big old platter plate full of nachos, and then they just dumped a bunch of cheese on top of it. And it was this. I'm like, and she was like, it was sloppy. It wasn't even the best.
The presentation
and it was just
was
right.
bad.
And it was just that it was just too much. And it's like, she if she didn't enjoy it, she's not gonna eat it. And it's like it's basically waste of money. And it's just like sometimes big portions does not qualify that your restaurant is the best. And
Right.
when it comes to food, they give us big portions of food, and I'm like, it doesn't qualify, especially if the food is not the best either tasting.
Yeah, because when I got my plate, I said if I wouldn't known it was this much,
right,
we
we
could have
would've
just
just
split the
I would have
dish.
gone with. I mean, I'm flexible when it comes to food. I can
Yeah.
pretty much eat anything. Yeah, I'm flexible. I'm not a barbecue. Look, I don't like sauces a lot. He likes his sauces. I don't do sauces. I mean, I went to when I was at the Pop, I ordered a hot dog. He's like, "Did you want anything on it?" No, I'm good with plain.
Hey, one thing about the sauce at that barbecue place, it was lightly sauced, dry rub.
excuse
It
me,
was
guys.
actually really, really good. So with that, let's move on
We have
to
Chantel. Hi, Chantel. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We have Jessica Rosario,
yeah, that's
my
my cousin.
and then we have a Denise Brown.
Hey.
Hi, cousin.
That's cousin, and
And-
Chantel's all the way in
In
Ghana
Ghana.
watching. So we got Ghana
you.
checking in,
Thank you for coming on in.
and Chantel's recently married. She
Yes.
surprised all of us when she got married. Again, congratulations!
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, she shocked us.
Thank you for your support on my 6 a.m. prayer. I appreciate that too. And I
Yes.
got your message. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, again, that 6 a.m. prayer. I try, as quiet as it's kept, I tried to record it on my laptop. And first of all, I was early, so I was groggy, and I didn't have the input set up correctly. So I wish I could have recorded it and played back just a little bit of her prayer.
Hey, some things I do remember. Some things I don't remember what I said, what I was doing.
She went in. That's all I can tell you. She went in. Now we usually try to keep something topics out, but I had to bring that one up. But yeah, she went in. For those who don't know, when Inside the Pink Box, which is the next episode is on here. I need to get that edited. I just looked at it when I was going through. It's going to be something like those who didn't know about our first episode, you go in there, we sort of teased what's in there. For those on the platforms we're part of, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon's podcast platforms, Unfortunately, I had to put that together, and we'll share that with all of you on those platforms at a later date. Probably be a separate topic talking about that. So we'll talk about how we're going to do that for those on our platform. For those who didn't know, we are on Spotify, we're on Amazon, and we're on Apple. So we are growing our program. And again, we thank you for
Your support.
support.
So if you guys
and
don't, if
watching.
you have any of those three, even if you just go over there and follow us, that'll help a lot. And it helps us, our algorithm going up too. It has other people come and listen to us. And if you just run at least a few minutes on it, we appreciate it. It just
Right.
helps a lot with the algorithm and our placement when we on these podcasts and how many people
And subscribe to them.
Yeah, subscribe to them. Thank you. Now, whatever platform you are, we're not asking you to subscribe to Spotify, but whatever
right.
platform you are on.
Our YouTube, we do post these on YouTube. Subscribe. Again, as I said, we're in the process of the platform that we're part of next year, getting things lined up, and we will be able to basically stream to everything that's on the live side. So it'll be Facebook. Slowly, we're moving. We want you to go to the Garrison House Facebook group because I'm trying to get it off my personal page. So a lot of people that are on here, I did send you invites from the Garrison House Facebook page. Just please go ahead and like it, become part of the Garrison House podcast family. We do these every 2 weeks, and we don't do a lot of flood posting. So you may see something in the middle of the week. We're going to start doing a little something, but it'll be taking place on the Garrison House podcast page.
Yep, we're getting hearts from people. We're getting Andrea says, awesome, keep up the good work. Thank you, Andrea.
Oh, and hey, all right, that's my cousin Adrian.
Adrian, excuse me.
And my childhood best friend John Desashore has jumped in.
Hi, John.
I was telling my wife the story about when we would come over to your house and the peeking neighbor who would tell on us, and your mom would find out that you let some people, that your friends in the house. So those were the times when. That's another topic we need to talk about. Anyway, we need to move on to our core topic, and that is compassion. Oh, I guess you want to start on that?
Well, it goes back when, technically it goes back to my time I spent at 6 a.m. prayer. And it's just that things I've known back, if I knew the way now that I knew, how to go, what I know now, I wish I would have applied from back then. A lot of things I would have changed. A lot of things would have done differently. And it's just things people just nowadays, what's going on in the world, if people just have compassion for other people, it would be a lot more, not as much hecticness as it is what's going on in the world today. Just showing that, right before my husband's sister passed away, I told my husband, I said, you know what? We need to show a lot more compassion for her. It's not that we did stuff just because. At one point it was like we doing things for her because we had to, but sometimes it was just more about compassion. So I told him, I said, let's set up a specific time. If she needs stuff, just let her know. We'll do it on this specific time, and you have to stay with it. And we started to do that, and then she passed us after that. But anyway, just showing a lot more compassion for people. Your relatives or whoever, something's going on, and you're like, oh, that's them again. Sometimes it's some things you can't always do for them, but at least show some form of love for them and compassion for their situation that they're in.
And for me, I think, now I'm not going to get emotional. I think when it came to Christina, that was preparing me for a new level of compassion. This for me is the first Christmas without my baby sister. The sister that came out of my mother's womb. I've had other baby sisters that my father had. This is the first Christmas without her. Is it easy? No, I think it's going to be a reflection for me. Once I got over the grief, y'all, was I can't even describe the level of grief. However, just realizing this is the first Christmas without Christina. I had my little nicknames for her. I'm not going to share that. However, it's something about when Angie told me we gotta do compassion. I had to put that hat on because I'm always busy, and I sometimes when she said that, I really, even in the house, I'm still learning how to take more time for family. I'm a work in process, and I had to learn. Okay, Christina, we're going to do it on this day, and you get whatever you want. And there was one time she was like, "Oh, I want to get this and this." I said, "Okay, get it." Say, "For real?" I say, "Yeah, get whatever you want." So that was probably about a month before, maybe a month or two before she passed. It was around this time last year. I really gave her, I let her have a day, and it was not realizing it was the last month that she was going to be here. It was literally around this time last year, and she was like, "You can get whatever you want." And I think I spent like, and she didn't spend much this time. She had got her candy, she got her smokes, she got her vapes, she got all that stuff. And she was like a kid in the candy store. Like I said, it was around this time last year.
And it's the little things.
Yeah.
It's just, and she was happy. So it's not like, we did, and he had to do for her because he was the only, he was the only one
who was in town,
who was available to
do
it. We had to buy her things, and she was on SSI, and SSI didn't cover a lot of stuff.
No, we had, for those who don't know, we're gonna put this out here for those who don't know. We had to help cover her rent. So not only were we taking care of our house, our daughter who's in our wallet all the time, we also had to take care of Christina. All the stuff we did for her was out of our pocket. It wasn't at SSI. SSI couldn't even pay her rent. So I'm just gonna put that out there. A lot of people don't know that. It did not pay her rent. We had to make up the difference, plus take care of all her other needs, expenses that she had. So for those who don't know, not to be bragging, but we did that. Let me stop this before it plays something. Oh, it didn't. So yeah, we took care of all of her miscellaneous expenses. We went out and bought her a streaming device, a Roku, and so she could have some entertainment, added her to our account. So we made sure she had everything. Actually, we even bought her a tablet. So she was, when those in the family realized she was on social media, we made sure she had everything to keep her stable. For those who don't know, she had Addison's. Addison's is an adrenal disease. And we had to learn some compassion in that because we didn't know what was going on. The medical community didn't know what was going on. They misdiagnosed her years back. It was a whole mess. Then it was maybe 5 years ago, they said, "Oh, we've discovered it was Addison's." Well, by then they had put her on these other drugs and she was pretty much messed up. So, but at the end of the day, we showed that compassion. It's a difference
between having to do something, but just showing love. Compassion is almost also showing love.
Yes.
So you still have to show that love to that person. So that's another thing. And it's just not just saying it was with Christina, just anybody. Just showing compassion. With society going on right now, people videotaping other people acting crazy. I mean, we got to figure out what's going on in their minds. And look, women are emotional. We are emotional people, and sometimes our hormones be getting crazy. Now we not gonna blame everything on hormones, but still, some things are just like that. Some people. I had a bad day. One time I went to Kroger's, and I was going through some. I was rushing to go to work. I go to Kroger to buy some stuff for lunch or whatever, so I can get up out of here, buy some personal products. And I'm sitting here at the checkout, and the woman was taking care of, and it was only self-service available, and there was only one little clerk there, one little lady there, and she was too busy. I guess there was a person there who bought this whole cart full of stuff, and they bought like 100 packets of Kool-Aid packets.
You didn't tell me that.
About 20, about 100 packets. I'm over exaggerating. At least about 30 or 40 packets
That's
of Kool-Aid.
That's a lot.
And some of them was not scanning. Can you imagine? Can you just count it out and just put 10 cents on it and keep it moving? No, she scanned each and one of them, and if it didn't go through, she had to type in the code in order for it to go through. Now, I was trying to take an item off my cart because I said, I ain't gonna pay for this. And there was another man there early in the morning, I don't know why, but he was buying some beer. And you had to scan the ID.
Hey.
And he looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking around at anybody else. And I went over there and I said, excuse me, ma'am, I understand you're busy, but can you at least clear us out? Because literally she's taking each and every 40 packets of Kool-Aid. and the point was, it was a young couple with their child, and the mama and the child went into the car while they left the guy there to deal with this. And I was like, and then she's like, well, I'm busy right now. She literally said, well, I'm doing this right now. I'll be with you when I'm done. Basically, that's what she kind of said. So I went back to my thing, and there was another guy comes in. I said, can you at least help us? Or somebody else? She's like, no, she's the only one who can do it. I got frustrated. I literally got frustrated, walking out, fussing, all I want to do is, and I said, okay, I got to calm myself down because and I walked out. But still, that stuff like that can get you frustrated, and you're not necessarily meaning to, but when you're in a rush, things do happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, needless to say, I left my stuff there and I left. I don't know if the guy got his beer or not, but anyway.
Compassion. And I'm thinking about events of today, for example. While we're at the airport, for those who don't know, I do take the wheelchair because it's not at this. I'm healing every day. That's my new saying. And one of the young ladies there was talking to one of the other lead people from our ministry. And she said, oh, I'm a singer. I'm like, oh, okay. Everybody's a singer. I'm like, okay, let me send me to your Facebook. I went to her page, Facebook. I went, yeah, you are a singer. Why are you pushing wheelchairs? Exactly. So, but she has the compassion to push people. That's actually compassion. And there's something else in there, humbleness. To push someone, though you're trying to build yourself up, and that's actually a good thing. That will lead to some compassion for her in the future, because she will understand the people. So that she won't be one of those diva celebrities, and I pray she won't. I don't have her name in front of me right now. However, I listened to the 2-minute sample she has on there. Said she is good. And so she only has around 11,000 views at this time. However, she's a really good artist, up and coming artist. And then I met another young man, and I remember I believe he had pushed me a while back, and he has a podcast, and he gave the card. I went, and I just realized, I said, wait a minute, I've had this card before, so I'm gonna go and take a listen to him. So there's a lot of people who have humbleness and compassion. They're learning their compassion for people because they're serving people who need to be able to get around the airport and have mobility issues. So it was a great thing to see a level, now that I'm thinking about it, compassion coming from the upcoming generation and some within the millennial generations. There's compassion showing, because there's times our own daughter is like frustrated with people. Because it's always good to start teaching people compassion for others. And sometimes you get that compassion from serving people, doing something that will humble you and keep you focused and on point for what you need to do. So I'm thankful for this topic, because I guess we have 5 minutes and 21 seconds left. So let's go on ahead and jump into our next one. I guess we want to talk about what's going to happen in our next episode, which is going to be on Christmas Eve, and that's going to be family holiday. And I think what we should do is have people, those who are on the social media platforms, share some of go to the Garrison House Facebook page if you're on Facebook. I believe, well, if you don't have Facebook, I'm gonna do this. Go to our TV station's X page, formerly known as Twitter. Why do we say formerly known as Twitter? Everybody knows it's formerly known as Twitter, but
X ain't. No, let me shut up. I ain't got no problems. The name change, but X is not a name. I'm like, dude, it's like X.
Well,
I'm like, that's not even. I mean, whatever.
That's because he's Gen X. He's representing our generation. Realize Elon is Generation X. So Elon, we thank you for representing the generation.
You have Instagram, you have Facebook,
Threads.
You did have Threads, you did have Twitter, and he come up with X. That's I got nothing against the man. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't got the platform. It is what it is. Hey, he can do whatever.
Well, you also have Truth,
right?
For those who don't do.
Everybody has such a.
Well, anyway, if you want to, those who especially are on our podcast platforms, if you're on X, you can go to @Beacon BEACON 333 for the BTV. You can leave your family holiday comments. You can also find us for those who don't like X/Twitter. You're more of a truther. We're on Truth, same handle @Beacon333 TV. So you can go to our BTV on those. We do not have a Garrison House Twitter at this time. So you can go to our BTV X and Truth pages. I don't go on Truth that much. I hang out on X.
What are your X going to do, honey?
Share with your family holiday memories.
If you how about what do you mean? Oh, you mean put it verbally?
Yeah, type it up. Type up your family, some of your memories from family holidays, and then you go to our Garrison House Facebook page and share what your holidays were like. Now, I know those who are part of the Garrison family, we used to have some holiday parties. We used to have an annual family dinner. Some of your great memories of the holidays. It can even be some of your memories with your children, your parents, grandparents, etc., etc., etc. So share some great family.
I think Christmas Eve. I love Christmas. I love my fall is my seasonal stuff. I love fall. I love the Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. I love food. I love to, cook during this time because sometimes in the summer you can't cook.
In this house.
And the temperature changes, so it will change the texture of your food if you cook during the summer. But I do love the fall season, the whole comfort food and everything like that. So Christmas, as always, I love Christmas. And we're going to talk a lot more about how our first Christmas and the Christmas afters and Christmas when the child came, Christmas struggle Christmases, but all is good. Ooh. And we just thank God that we are here making it through another Christmas. So we're going to be talking about the happy Christmases too.
Glad to be above the ground one more time, as some people say. Glad to be seen, not viewed for Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
I look forward to our next episode. All right, everyone. Until next time, we are the Garrisons, and I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And thank you for watching Garrison House.